Hey there, and welcome back to the Virtual Cafe for another coffee convo about business finances. I'm your host, Kerry Zarb, and I am joined by Kim White. We invite you to join us at our table with your favourite brew. Let's pull up our chairs and get into today's episode. Come on, let's go. It's coffee time.
Oh, Kim, it is blowing a gale out there. How are you going?
What's a gale, Kerry?
A what?
What's a gale?
The wind. The wind, it's blowing a gale outside.
Is it blowing a Susie too?
Who's Susie?
I don't know who Gale is.
Don't you get gale force winds, Kim?
We might.
No, I don't know. I'll have to Google. What's the wind called in the United States?
Kerry, that was just a word that I'm not familiar with, and I'm just kind of laughing because I don't know what to say to that.
I'm not sure. We might have to park that conversation for another day. Clearly there's a translation issue between the gale winds that we have here in Australia versus what they get in Texas.
Look, it might just be who you're talking to, Kerry, let's be honest. So, Kerry, I have a question for you about another mistranslation that I need help with.
Oh, sure. Fire away.
So, I heard some people talking about something, and I've heard you use the word, but I figured out it wasn't the weather they were talking about, Kerry. It was money, and that is forecast. So what is the forecast of money when they're not talking about weather? I thought it was weather, Kerry. I thought it was those Susie Force winds. I thought it...
Well, Kim, it's funny that I got blown in the door and then this is what you brought to the table. That's quite interesting and a little bit uncanny. However, I think if we're talking about forecasting with our finances, well, that's another conversation. And you know what? I don't want to make this one heavy. Let's be clear about that, because I do believe that everything with money and everything with finances can be super simple. And that's exactly where I want to keep it. So Kim, if you think about, let's play a little game here. Let's pretend we're looking at our television and there's the weather forecast. Because I like this. I do like to lean on the weather in this conversation, because Monday through to Sunday can look a lot different. When you start the week on Monday and you end the week on Sunday, you can go from the sunny sunshine right to the freezing cold, pouring rain, dark grey clouds, and then into the next week the sun can come out again. So when we think about forecasting with our money, we're creating our own weather map, and we're looking at, okay, and I actually, you know what, Kim, and I've probably said this on the podcast before, we need to make hay while the sun shines. And I don't know if that's just an Aussie term or a farmer term, but I've had that one in my grey cells for many, many years, because it's true. And the same thing happens with money. Make hay while the sun shines, because that's what we need to do. However, we can be a little bit clever about it, Kim, because we don't want to make hay. We're not farmers. We're not out there packing bales and looking to, build up the stock of the hay supply for the season. But we do have the ability to stash a bit of cash and start to look for those rainy days coming when we can call on that stash that we've created. So we get to control the forecast with our money, because we want the sunshine. We want every day to have sunshine and look beautiful. And you know what it's like, Kim? You stand out there in the sun and it hits your face and it's just amazing. We want every day to look like that with money. But the only way to do that is if when the sun shines, we stash some cash, and then when it starts pouring, we go and chip in. We go and chip into that little stash and make the sunshine. So Kim, does that make sense?
Makes so much sense, Kerry, and that changes everything in my little head about all the forecast stuff. That was a brilliant explanation.
Well, I'm glad that helped, Kim.
In 2022, I started sharing a special tool out to the universe that has since saved this community over $95,000. As your financial designer, I know what it feels like to find random charges on your bank or credit card statement. If you want to get in control of your recurring payments, Simple Subscriptions is the free tool for you. I host a live tour of Simple Subscriptions every quarter. It's completely free for you to attend and get this amazing tool. Let me show you how Simple Subscriptions can save you money and help you track your progress. Come and hang out with me and other entrepreneurs in the virtual cafe and let me show you how you can find those nasty charges and start saving money. Head over to kerryzarb.com to register for the next live tour, and while you're there, grab your free and private copy of Simple Subscriptions so you can get started on saving money.
And I tell you what, a lot of people always think that they've got to have the answers forever. Like we need to pack out this forecast for the next 6 months. Guess what, Kim? If I go to Google here on my phone and I look for the weather forecast here, I get 10 days. 10-day forecast is the most I can get out of Google for the weather in my area. So you know what? When it comes to money, maybe we're only doing a couple of weeks. Maybe we're doing a month. Maybe we're doing a quarter. At most, we'd be doing a quarter. And that's a stretch. That's a stretch for a lot of entrepreneurs. So think about how big your forecast is going to be or how small it's going to be. Because you know what? If we can look at this week and we can look at next week and we can make the sun shine, maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough for us right now. Whereas moving forward, when we get more comfortable with this prediction of the weather, then maybe we go a little bit further. Maybe we do it a little bit at a time, Kim. What do you reckon?
I think this is brilliant, Kerry. And again, I'm going to say if anybody doesn't not know something in their numbers or they're having trouble, ask Kerry. Because that's exactly what I do every week here at the Virtual Cafe. I am going to keep coming back, Kerry, till I get this all figured out.
Oh, I see more questions in my future. There's my forecast. Look at that. My crystal ball, Kim, of you asking me questions.
I've never been called a crystal ball before, Kerry, but I definitely am full of questions.
Well, Kim, I do want to go back to this, mythical creature of a 6 or 12 month forecast that we think we need to have. Because, you know what? Who are we? Who are we in our business? Are we a big corporation? Do we have hundreds of team members? Do we have an accounting department? Do we have all the pieces that are going to deliver us all those answers? Probably not. If you're anything like me, you're looking at yourself in the mirror going, yeah, let's have a team meeting. Woo! So guess what? We're not going to really have a true forecast when we're trying to pack out 6 and 12 months. It's going to be so loose. We're going to be guessing so much what those numbers are. It's going to be so far in pencil that you're going to change it 50 million times on your way down the road to the 6 and 12 months. So why go there? Why try and guess that far? A lot happens in a quarter, Kim. Your business can change so much in one quarter. So if you're starting to pack out all these numbers in this huge spreadsheet or a big, sketch pad or in your journal, however you're doing it, it's going to change. So why put ourselves through that? Why try and guess that far? Yeah?
I almost feel like that's the difference between starting where we are and trying to run too far ahead and then train wrecking ourselves based on trying to run too fast. Because if we don't know how to do like you said, a 10-day forecast, or we don't know how to do a shorter term forecast, then it doesn't really matter because we won't get the big one right. It'll just be a waste of time and effort. So I feel like you just solved all the world's problems in one conversation here in the cafe, Kerry. As usual.
Well, and Kim, I'm going to point out that just like the weather forecasting, they don't get it right either. That is the truth. If you look at that 10-day forecast or even the 7-day forecast on your app, How often do you go back to it and go, hang on a minute, I thought it was supposed to be warm on Wednesday. Why is it raining? Why is it cold? What happened? Because, Kim, I open that thing like once in a blue moon. I look at it and I solidify it in my brain. Sunday's going to be beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get away from my desk. I'm going to go in the backyard. There's going to be sun. I'm really excited. It's going to be amazing. And then you get there and go, what happened? Oh, they changed their mind. How often do you say that? The weather people changed their mind as to what was going to happen. Because they're guessing too in 7 or 10 days. Just saying.
But Kerry, I appreciate these conversations because most people take it as in stone. Not in pencil, but as in stone. It must be that if you're talking money forecast, it must be that they know something I don't. And it goes back to what we talked about in the last episode, Kerry, last week, about being intimidated. If we're intimidated and we're afraid to do something, we're trusting other people or whatever it is, versus realizing they're practicing just like you're going to be practicing.
Kim, we should all be playing with pencil because we are all practicing. I'm still practicing, and I know you are too. And that's just the reality of it. Pens are dangerous, Kim.
Well, you have made my week, Kerry, I will tell you. And I appreciate you bringing things down to a level I can understand them.
Well, Kim, I appreciate the question, and I appreciate you bringing it to the virtual cafe in this conversation, because you know I'm going to get my little milk crate out and just hop on up and get all excited. But this was a fun conversation, Kim, and a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, Kim.
Thanks for joining us in the Virtual Cafe. You can follow the show to be notified of future episodes, and if you're enjoying this podcast, we encourage you to leave a rating or personal review. Until next time, happy biz beans to you. No beans were harmed during the production of this podcast. Information contained in this podcast should be taken as general advice only, and your personal circumstances have not been taken into account. It is recommended that you seek financial advice from a professional who is licensed to do so. If you choose to act upon the general advice shared, you do so